Welcome to the ISE Content Studio here at ISE 2023 in Barcelona. Our topic today is Unreal for virtual production, and there's only one person we can talk about with this. We're really honored to have here BK Johannessen, Unreal Engine Business Director for broadcast and live events. So much now, we need that time. Yes. And from Epic Games. Yes. And fantastic to have you here. Welcome.
My pleasure.
BK. Without you, without your company, we wouldn't be sitting here. And while we prepared for this interview, we talked a little about it. Yeah. It's such a big difference to have, this virtual production studio versus a green room. It's just fantastic. It makes life so much easier for everyone.
It's what can I say? It's really fun for me as well to actually be in a studio which is powered by Unreal Engine. I totally agree with you. I mean, seeing is believing. It used to be that it was only the audience who got to experience it. And as talent or producers, you kind of had to envision it. You had to imagine it. Now we're in it. We're in a real environment where we can use all the toys and tools of virtual.
And it's based not on a special tool which is used by a few hundred engineers or developers. So it's one of the most popular platforms for 3D, right?
Yes, it is. It is a very, very active platform. Almost 1 million active users of the tool sets in a lot of different industries. I find that so fascinating to see how the needs are so similar, even in film and virtual production, in broadcast, even architecture and automotive are adopting this real-time technology where they've used traditional, non-real-time in the past, but they see all these benefits, all these advantages, and their needs are very similar. So a game engine kind of comes very natural to fit those needs as well.
Yeah.
So companies are coming to you or using your technologies for the creative potential, or is it also for cost savings and things like that?
I'm sure there are a bunch of different reasons, and there are a bunch of different potential outcomes. I'm not convinced that cost savings is normally the number one driver. I mean, our tool is free to use for any type of linear media production or linear production in general. So you would imagine that it has a cost saving potential, but at the end of the day, I think that most of them come to it from a storytelling. They have a story they want to tell. They want to tell it in the most immersive, the highest possible fidelity. I think everybody wants to increase the quality of their content. And I think that's what we're seeing. We're seeing that a lot in broadcast where organically it's kind of being adopted also just from the creative teams. They have access to the tool. Anybody can go download it. There's a lot of learning material. There is a super active and passionate community of users out there that are very willing to share their experiences. So I think that a lot of users are gravitating towards the tool because it offers them a lot of things that they didn't have before.
So what is the key of success of the Unreal Engine? Is it that it's so easy to enter because it's free for the beginning, or is it the big user base? Is it that there are a lot of templates already available? Or
yeah, all of the above, okay? So it's not enough that it's just accessible and it doesn't require you to pay an upfront fee or anything. It is a lot about access to learning material. Where do you get started? How do you learn a new tool? It is a lot about access to content or assets. We have one of the largest libraries of really valuable, high quality materials and textures and 3D models that are also accessible for anybody for free to be used within the Unreal Engine ecosystem. I think all of these add value, drive users to be successful using the tool.
This is one trend, Stefan, right? About democratizing content production. That's one of the main topics here at ISE. Yes. We're here at ISE 2023. And it's all about, lots of our clients out there, and even enterprise users start using it. So yes. Is that a trend you're seeing too? Or?
Oh, absolutely. And this is really our big goal, is democratizing this content creation. And we do focus very, very actively on that content creator. That's the person we believe is going to be the ones that creates all these experiences, both today and in the future. So for that person to have, a tool that enables them that makes them successful, that makes it possible to make those next generation experiences, that really high fidelity, that photorealism. I think that's the key of it, and it's really fun to see that the industries are embracing it.
But you also talked about ecosystems. So
Yeah.
and to create such an experience, what do you need in the end?
Well, I already touched on one thing, right? So we have an asset library we call the Quixel Megascans. That gives you access to a lot of things that I'm sure was used also in this set here. You want to have, a floor with a metallic or a shiny, glossy texture to it. A lot of these things are drag and drop. You get access directly in, and you can replace one thing with the next and figure out what is, what works for you. There are other types of assets like 3D models that you want to use, and you don't want to build everything from scratch. It's really expensive to build everything from scratch, and why would you if somebody already did? So having easy access to these assets, and I think we're at the very beginning of this. The amount of assets that are available is very, very limited today, and this is when it becomes really interesting, when Unreal becomes such a powerful platform in different industries. A lot of buildings are modeled and visualized in Unreal Engine.
Or digital twin, right? I mean, all these trends.
They kind of already have the digital twin before the building is built, but we still have a lot of education to do in terms of the value of that asset and how that asset can actually be purposed in the future. Every sports stadium out there exists today as a digital, twin, and every broadcaster in the world would love to have access to these things, but they don't currently. So I believe that we're going to see a really kind of explosion in terms of access to digital assets that are going to be super useful for us in order to tell really engaging stories and in a totally new way.
Talking about digital things and digital assets, it leads us kind of naturally to the Metaverse. How do you see the connection there?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
Talking about these digital twins and digital assets, it's kind of leads us to a fully digital world, like the Metaverse is kind of the vision of that.
Right. Well, I think that we're gonna see a lot of experiments. We already are. There's more and more of these kind of what we call immersive experiences that are coming. Well, and we have our own in Fortnite and our other games. And they've proven quite successful. I think we're going to see more and more of these type of experiences to figure out how do we leverage things that we already have or build things that we don't have to create new types of experiences. And we've seen digital concerts that are being done fully online and immersive in a social context, where you can go to a concert online with your friends and experience it in a different way than you would have if you went to a physical one. And I think that's what we're going to see more of. We're going to see a lot of learning, a lot of experimentation happening. Again, we're focused on lowering the bar on doing those type of experiments, on launching those type of experiences. And I think that ecosystem is required in order to get that up off the ground.
Yeah. And this is going to change viewing habits. Do you see that as a trend, especially for younger people, or is it just for everybody?
I think you see it stronger in the younger demographic. I think you see a lot of the younger ones that have very different viewing habits. I mean, they consume a lot of content. They generally consume content probably on multiple devices and multiple services at the same time. And it changes a little bit how you tell those stories, right? How you create, what content resonates to that type of viewing experience. So I do think that there's a lot of things that are happening targeting more younger demographics. But let's be honest, when we look at Super Bowl or NFL in general, they are not shy of using new tools in order to increase the value of their content. in order to engage us and entertain us in new ways. And we see that pretty much with every type of production, everywhere in the world. It's an absolute global general trend. New tools are available. You can tell stories better. Then why wouldn't you?
Faster and more efficient, obviously, also.
Faster and more efficient, yes.
Because our Media Pro team here did the whole thing in 2 weeks, which was unbelievable. I mean, we're here in a virtual studio, and to all of them there, we're not sitting in a starship. We are sitting in a black room here, but it looks nice. There's an LED in the background.
It does.
But it's fantastic, and it gives a great impression.
Yeah, and it kind of shows you a little bit the flexibility and creativity that you can unleash. And I think that's also really inspiring to see, that once people really kind of understand how to leverage the technology, it unleashes this creativity. So all of a sudden, we're not bound to a lot of physical limitations anymore. We can be in space.
Cool, fantastic. BK, was great flying with you through space for the past 10 minutes.
Likewise.
Thanks for being here, and thanks, fantastic that you're here at ISE. You're also giving a keynote, so everyone wants to listen to that one. So thanks a lot, BK.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.